This session is on the content library. Let's go through those. We have the transitions. As you drag over the transition, you get the effect. So we're looking at a cross dissolve or a cross blur. We're looking at a mosaic there, where the mosaic opens up and closes between the two, a page curl, a swap where one clip is moved backwards and the next clip comes forward, cross zoom, ripple for water. So you can put a standard transition in by going Command T. The standard transition is a cross dissolve, and it goes both at the front and the end of the clip. If you've got a transition in the timeline, at the moment it's a cross dissolve, we can put a page curl on top of that by simply dragging it on top of the previous transition. You can change the length of that transition by double clicking it and changing the length here. Next we have the titles. Now titles come up and show in the browser, and again as you hover over them you get a representation of what those titles will look like. One of the things with titles is that they are fixed. They can't generally be altered. So if we look at this particular title here called Gravity, if we bring that into the timeline and select it and then go to adjust, we can click on the title, but you can only change the words. You can see here that the fonts and the size, bolding, italics and outline can't be changed. So we could change the title and make it sample. We can change the words, but we can't change the colour and we can't change the font. It's fixed for that particular title. Other titles, like say the drifting title, if we bring that into the timeline and click on it and then come up and select, you can see that you can change the font. You can change the font to some standard ones, or you can come down to show fonts and that will make all of your system fonts available to you to select from. Next we have maps and background. If we bring up the old world map, in this one we can, by selecting it, we can select the place we want to go to from the place we are leaving. So that's going from Italy through to Russia. Titles can go either over the video, or titles can have their own background, and that's where these backgrounds come in here. If we bring in a background, and let's bring one in called gradient, and we'll pop it in that empty area there, and if we bring the title over the top of that background and look now, you'll see that instead of showing over the video as it does there, we get a much better representation of the title when it's over the background. So we can put some effects of motion on that background. So at the moment it has an effect as if the gradient is moving up, and we've done that by selecting here and selecting Ken Burns, and we've done a start position for the Ken Burns and an end position for the Ken Burns, so that when we play through this clip you get the effect of the gradient moving with the text above it. Some backgrounds have motion built in. You'll see that this curtain background is giving the effect of a curtain opening or closing. The organic one has a Ken Burns effect built into it with a floral script. The blobs move, and We can change some of the effect of the blobs by going to the artist palette here and changing the color effects, building in different color effects for the blobs.
Audio opens up the iTunes or your music library on your Mac.
Depending on how you set up iTunes and what albums you have in iTunes, then you will be able to select from there. So we can select ringtones here,
ground controls,
or you can go to all music and put in a search here, and if we search for Rod Stewart, there's Rod Stewart.